Hi everyone, hope you are doing well. In this video, we are going to set up Git on our code base. So basically, Git is a code management software. That's what you can say, where you can maintain the versions of your code. Basically, it can maintain version of anything. It can maintain the version of files as well. But what it is used for in most of the cases is the version management of your code. So basically, you can put your code somewhere so that what you can do later is that you can make changes in the code and it keeps track of all the code changes. I'll go to my machine and here let me show you what exactly is Git. So let's go to github.com. There are multiple other Git softwares or Git solution providers, like one by Atlassian is Bitbucket. So there is one called as Bitbucket. You can use that as well if you want to. Basically, this is by Atlassian and it is for the code management stuff. Likewise, there is Azure DevOps by Microsoft. So Azure DevOps Git. So if you search for this, then also Azure DevOps also maintains the Git repository. So you could even use that. So there are multiple solutions which people use, but the one which we are planning to use is github.com because it is very popular and it is easy to use and it is for free also. So that's why we are planning to use it. You can actually go to github.com and create your account. Let me just open an incognito window to show you. So if I open github.com, it will open this page and here you can click on sign up. So you can click on sign up and then you can give your details to create your account. So that's simple. Just like any other website, you can create an account. Once you create an account, you will get something like this. So this is my account here logged in. Most of the time I work on this repo in Shiva. Basically, this is a repository, or basically you can create multiple orgs if you want to. All these concepts are not that important. The important point is that when you go here, you get the option of creating the repository. Repository is a place where you put your code base. So like you see, I have multiple code bases here. Protobuf, gRPC, WebSockets, WebRTC. All these code bases are the one which I put in my YouTube tutorials. So that's why I have created a separate organization. So you can create all those things, but the simplest thing and you can find how to create a repository is you can just click on new repository and create a repository. So we'll create a new repository and here we can name our repository because we are working on our e-commerce platform. We need to create a repository which helps us identify it's an e-commerce platform. So we'll just name it e-commerce backend. So we might have a separate repository for front end later, but for now we are just having a e-commerce backend as a repository. We'll make it public. We'll not have readme file for now. We'll add that later. And git ignore, we can use Java here. So what exactly is git ignore? Whenever you create a Java file and when you build or compile the Java file, it gives an output of a class file, that is .class, right? So this class file you don't want to commit to the servers. So in those cases, you add this git ignore. So that will ignore the class file and a lot of extra files which are not needed. DLL files also. So those things you can configure. I'm making it public so that you all can also look into the repository, and I'll click on create. It will create a repository for me and it will open a particular page like this. Now I must actually go ahead and set up this repository into my own machine as well. So how do I do that? So basically for that, I need to go to my machine and open a terminal. So basically I can actually, let's open a command prompt and go to the same folder. We'll open a command prompt cmd and we'll go to the same folder cd code. Now if you run git, you will get an error because git is not yet installed. We have to install the git first. So let's go to internet again and search for git download. It will give us the link to this website, gitscm.com. There are multiple ways to download git, but I think the gitscm.com is the one which generally is more popular. But there would be multiple ways to download. We are in a Windows machine, so we'll take Windows. Had you been in a Mac machine, you would have taken Mac. So let's take Windows option. And here, let's take 64-bit. Basically, my machine is a 64-bit Windows machine, so I'll take that. It will download the git.exe so that I can just click on it and run. Let's click on yes, next, next. I'll keep everything default. I trust the default values. Basically, companies put a lot of effort to think what value should be default and what value should not be default. So default values generally work for maybe 80% of the people. So that's why they are the default values. And my use case is very generic. So that's why I'm just keeping everything default. I'm not even touching anything. It's asking too many details. And then let's just click on OK. And the installation will start. Let's just wait a bit for the Git to get installed, and then we'll open a new command prompt so that we can verify if the Git is installed or not. I suppose it should be installed after this, but let's just wait. You can see the Git is installed. I'll click on finish. I don't want to see the release notes for now. Now let me open a new command prompt, cmd, and let me run Git. See, the Git command is getting detected. I'll go to my folder, cd, code, cd. There was something around backend, I suppose. And let's do a dir. So this is the project where I want to, this project I want to upload to Git. How do I do that? So now you will see multiple commands. The first command is git init. Basically, it will convert this project to a Git repository. So I'll do a git init. Okay. Then let's do git remote add origin. Basically, I want this code to have this as the origin. So origin means linking both this server to this client. So I'll add that here. Then I'll do git status and I'll do git. Let's remove git ignore from here because it might create problem. Delete dot git ignore. If we have two git ignore, then there can be some problem. I think the command for delete in Windows is del. Then again, let's do git status. So you see, I have multiple folders here. Now I'll do git clone or git pull. Basically, I want to pull all the changes from the server. So it was able to pull everything from e-commerce platform. And the branch here you see is the main branch. So we can do git pull origin main because the branch name here is main. You can clearly listen to many of the commands which I am putting here, right? Like git pull, git clone, git. So those commands are as and when you run, you will learn. And these are not like very complex commands. So basically git pull origin means this is the origin. And then the main, basically this is the main. You can actually read more about Git, but these are the commands which will be needed. Git pull, git push, and git init. Git init also you will not need in many cases. In fact, you will never need most of the time. Maybe once or twice you will need when you are setting up a repo, but not much beyond that. And then we have a git status to give us the status of the stuff. Now let me do git status again. We have these files. Now we need to add a few files to the server. So we can do git add and let's add a few things. So what I want to add is only pom.xml and src. Why these two? I don't want target because in the target folder, there will be just the DLLs and the class files. I don't need these. I don't need mvnw and mvnw.cmd because they are also not required for now. These are the runables. So only these two are the code part. I'll just do a git add here. So these two things are added. There are some warnings, but they can be ignored. Basically, they are around end of file, how the end of files look like. Now if I do git status, so you see these files are added, all the .java files and the properties files. Now if we see, we don't want to add target, we don't want to add mvnw, we don't want to add help.md. Now what I'll do is that, let's first do a CLS so that you can see properly. Now I'll do git commit -m. -m means message. We can write adding the first commit, and then we can do this. Now it's asking us to configure a few things like username and the name. So we need to configure these things because this is the first time we are setting up the stuff. So we'll do git config --global. I'm just typing what is suggested here. User.email. I'll put my email here. anubhav.workemail@gmail.com. This email is pretty much public, so I'm not worried. And then I can have user.name as my name. So I'm doing this because Git asked me to do. Nothing is special here. User.name, and I can give Anubhav. And then let's commit again. Now the stuff is committed on my local, but it is not yet there in my server. So if I reload my page here, I won't see anything. Still it is all empty, right? So what to do here? We'll go here and we need to push, git push origin, and we are in the main branch. So we'll write origin main. Basically we'll just push the changes to the main. So let's type here. And it's saying src ref var main does not match any. Let's do get push origin head to see if this works. Let's wait if this gets pushed or not. It should ask for some credentials. So we'll do sign in with browser. It opened the browser stuff. I'll click on authorize git ecosystem. Authentication succeeded. And then it got redirected here. And you see that the code got deployed to the master branch, not the main branch. Actually, this is the thing which has started to happen in the last 1 or 2 years, to be honest. That the main branch, if you come here to the code base and you reload it, you will not see anything. But if you see the master branch will have everything. So basically earlier, the main branch used to be the master. That is, the master branch was something which was considered as the default branch and which was considered as the correct branch for Git, master. But then lot of people said that the master and the slave terminology is something which has some negative connotation and which has some history. This kind of history is something which they didn't want to continue. And they wanted to change the nomenclatures, like not having master, but having main here. So that's what they thought to have. Likewise, they thought that we'll not use blacklist and whitelist because again, it has some negative connotations against the black. So they removed those things and they now have enable and disable as the nomenclature. Likewise, there are multiple nomenclatures which have been adopted, especially in the last few years. And those all are due to some good intentions. So we can respect that. But here what happens is that many clients, so this GitHub honors main as the main thing. But the GitHub software, which I downloaded, it was honoring master as the main thing. So somehow at times there can be some conflict between the master and the main. So in your company also, it might happen that the main is the main branch and not the master. So those could happen. So that's why this confusion that here my changes got pushed to master and not to the main. But yeah, you can actually navigate around that. And this is the first time you'll configure those stuffs. Now what we can do is that we'll just honor the master for here, right? So what we can do is that we could even honor the main. Let's do one thing. Let's create a pull request to push the master changes to the main branch. So if we do that, will be merging all the changes from master to the main branch. So this is called as the pull request. Basically, I pushed all my changes to the master and then I'm merging everything to the main. So let's create a pull request. So this is a pull request which people can actually go and review. Right now, I've not added any rule basically that, these are the things which should run before merging. But nevertheless, I'll just merge the pull request, confirm merge, and the merge is done to the main branch. I can now delete the branch. It's deleted. And now I can go to my code base again. And you see in the main branch, all the code is added using the pull request. So those things can be done. Now let me come back to the code base, and here I can do CLS. I can do git pull so that it can pull all the latest changes. And then I can do git checkout main. I can now reside in my main branch, and then I can do git pull origin main so that all the changes from the main will now be fetched. So basically now my changes will be in the main branch. You see your branch is main right now. And my local is also main and my server is also main. And that aligns with the lot of theories and policies which I talked about. So yeah, now whenever we push a new change, that those could be, visible here. There is also one thing which I wanted to show is the Git GUI or GUI. Let's go here in our code base in the backend, and then let's right click and see if we can see. So you see Git GUI, graphical user interface as well. So you could actually check the diff using this Git GUI as well. So basically this helps you to check the differences locally without even going to the command line. So many people work using this, but for me, somehow the command line sounds better. But I think you were able to understand the main stuff. That is, you were able to set up the Git, you are able to push the code, you have been able to see various commands. So if I can just put all the commands here. So the first command was git init to initialize the Git repo. Then it was git pull to pull the code base, basically to pull the latest changes. There was one to link the local repository to the server using git remote add origin, and then something like https github.com/anubhav or enshriva / awesome card or e-commerce, I think. So this was one. Then there was this git status was another, to check the status of the files. This will be used very often. Then there was this git commit to commit the changes locally. And then there was git push to push my changes to the server. So most of the time, the commands which we'll use is git status, git commit, and git push. So these are the three main commands which you'll use. Apart from that, you will also use git branch to basically create a git branch and git checkout. Let me show you how to do it. So right now, if you see, we are in the main branch. We can create one more branch and we can build more feature. So we can do git branch. We can create a branch name as anything. We can name a branch with the front end setup. So a branch name front end got created. Now we can do git checkout front end setup. So we'll move in this way. Our current branch became the front end setup branch. You can see here on branch front end setup. Now any code changes, if I do, let's do CLS, and if I get status. Now if I add any readme file, let's add a readme file in this branch in the root folder. We can add a readme new file and we can name it readme.md. So these are the markdown files. And here I can name it anything. Let's say I name it e-commerce platform. Double backslash is for headings. And we can write this is a backend for e-commerce platform and part of software engineering bootcamp. So I can write something like this and I can do commerce. I can put something like this. Okay. And let's do Control S. Now let me come back here to my Git. Firstly, let me come back here and show you how things look like. I'll right click and I'll do a Git GUI here. Basically, when I right click, I press Shift also, Shift key in my laptop. So that when you see more options, if you don't press Shift key, you will see lesser number of options. So you press Shift key and then you can click on Git GUI. Here you can see the changes. So basically here you see README. So this is the file which I'm planning to add. I'll go to the command line again and I'll do git status and I'll do git add readme.md. Then I'll do git commit -m adding readme. Then I'll do git push origin head. Head, why? Because it will just push to the current branch I'm part of. Now I can go to the server, basically github.com, and create a merge request to the master. So basically, let me come back here, backend, and here you see there is a new branch which was there is front-end setup. I can click on compare and create a pull request. So basically, here you can see the difference, basically the difference between the current branch and the new branch. So basically, you can create a pull request and you can send this link to your seniors that, hey, can you approve it? So here people can actually check that whether they can approve it or not. And here you can put some rules that at least 2 people should approve it and then only things will be approved. So those things can be added. For example, here you see rule sets ensure specific people approve pull requests before they are merged. So those things can be added. But nevertheless, what we'll do is that we'll add those rules later. But for now, we'll just merge the pull request, confirm merge, and the changes will be merged to the master. And things are merged. We can delete the branch because now we no longer need the branch and we can go to this e-commerce backend and my changes are merged, readme.md. So yeah, in this way, you have been able to see how merging to the master looks like. That's it from my side for this video. I hope this video was helpful. I am not following a traditional approach of telling you all the Git commands. I'm just trying to help you to understand the whole flow. And while doing that, we are learning the Git command. So there were only 3 or 4 Git commands which we learned here and which were important. Git pull, git push, git commit, and git checkout, then git branch. So these were the commands we learned and I think these are enough. That's it from my side for this video. Till the next time. Bye.